We start with the Joshua Usyk matchup in September. While some fight fans were hoping to see AJ versus Tyson Fury, Joshua thinks they shouldn't be disappointed. He told Sky Sports, "I don't want to point any fingers. I was definitely ready. We move forward. I've got another challenger who's good, just as good." Barack, is Usyk just as good as Tyson Fury?
How the heck can I compare those two guys? Usyk was king of the cruiserweight division. To say that he's just as good, I just think he has different attributes. Damn, to say just as good, I'm gonna have to say no. He hasn't proven to be just as good. I mean, Tyson's coming off the best win of his life, best win of his career, you know. Also the Klitschko win, but this was the best win of his career when he beat Deontay Wilder. So to say that he's just as good, no. I mean, maybe he didn't mean literally. Maybe he just means to him, this is just as good. I'm getting the same money, or I'm just as motivated. Because with AJ, we know we need him motivated. We need him motivated for him to do his best, just like any other fighter. You know, so I think that's probably what he meant.
Yeah, I mean,
no way he meant just as good.
Wait a minute, Barack. If we're sitting back and not talking about accomplishments, well, I mean, you can't take away Usyk's accomplishment in the cruiserweight division, right? And that's the biggest accomplishment you can have in a division. But when it comes to skill set, southpaw stance, trickery, I mean, the way he was able to beat Tony Bellew, who's a very good fighter and a good boxing mind, he showed a lot of tricks. So I can sit here and say that he's probably just as skilled as Tyson Fury, and that might be what Anthony Joshua meant. Maybe not as decorated, or maybe even more when you talk about belts, but I'm talking about maybe he hasn't had that big name opponent yet, like Fury. But if I'm just judging it off of skill, I would have to agree with Joshua.
Different skill set. He's more technical. So he's not awkward like Fury. Fury's a little bit tougher to deal with because he's awkward now. He's doing it right. It just looks different coming from a 6'9" guy, you know, who fights with his knees bent in together like knock-kneed, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a different dynamic. And also, he's shorter than him, you know. So to say he's just as good, you got the advantage in weight. You got the advantage, Joshua, in height. You got the advantage in reach. I don't see how you could say just as good. Moving forward, according to ESPN's Mike Coppinger, the Teofimo Lopez-George Kambosos fight is unlikely to happen. The fight date has moved multiple times, and Teofimo's team has begun legal action against both the IBF and Triller Promotions. A month from now, is anybody even going to be interested in this fight with Teofimo and Kambosos?
Probably not. I mean, there are a lot of big fights happening in boxing. You're talking about Spence, Pacquiao, possibly Canelo, Plant, or Canelo and somebody else. You know, you got later on in October, Fury Wilder, the trilogy, and there are other fights in between. You got Fight Camp coming up. There's a lot going on in boxing, and people have waited for this fight. They've wanted to see Teofimo back in the ring after the Lomachenko win, but it's dragging too far. And we know Teofimo and his camp do not want to go to Australia, and that's what Triller is pushing for. Barack, it's safe to say that this fight most likely won't happen, especially with the fact that Teofimo's team is looking to pursue legal action against Triller. This is the network, the streaming network that offered all of that money on that purse bid. But they were not prepared for this sport and the all of the variables that play a part in making a fight happen, in addition to COVID-19 being a part of this new world that we live in. So Triller got blindsided by boxing.
Maybe so, or maybe they just had unhappy participants after a while. Who knows? But I look at it like this. I see Teofimo, he's young, just got married, made decent money in his last fight, doesn't have so much expenses at the time. Right now, but Kambosos got a family. Things might be tough for him financially. If I'm Kambosos right now, I'm crying. I'm crying because I'm just watching my biggest payday of my life sail away. Teofimo, he'll go on to fight big fights because of who he is. He's on a pound for pound list. He just beat Lomachenko. He got a Lomachenko possible fight, rematch coming up, maybe. So where does that leave Kambosos right now? That's the what I'm worried about.
You know, Barack, when you really put that in perspective, it is sad because we know so many boxers that wait for that one big payday, that they can do so much with that payday, whether it's build a new home, buy a new home, invest some money, build some sort of stability for their family. Sometimes it's only one fight that really gives you that, and this was the fight for Kambosos. So I am sorry. If that fight doesn't happen, I'll be very sorry for Kambosos, Barack. I agree.
How sorry? You gonna go in your wallet? Sorry?
No, I won't be that sorry.
Because this was his Andy Ruiz potential moment, you know, where Andy Ruiz is living with his mother, you know, and you remember that in the press conference, Mama, we don't have to struggle anymore. Rich overnight.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Kambosos is still going to be a mandatory. He's still a guy that somebody's going to have to face. So I don't think this is his last payday. Maybe his next one won't be as big if he doesn't fight Teofimo, but he'll make some money. He'll be okay.
Now let's talk about Teofimo. Even though I said he's good, should he, let's just say this fight doesn't happen. Should he take another fight before he does that rematch that his father says that he would convince his son to do against Lomachenko?
I mean, look, Loma fought another fight. Maybe Teofimo should get in the ring with somebody else and shake the cobwebs off. It's been a while since he fought. It's going on a year soon. So I would say maybe before getting in the ring with a Lomachenko that just fought Nakatani, maybe get in there in another fight. But Barack, he's young. He's energetic. Maybe this time off suited him well, and maybe he can get back in there with Lomachenko right away. Who knows? I just want a decision to be made. Is he going to fight Kambosos or not?